though. I decided to post a video today, and I realized, oh my God, last night I was trying to finish it up and my eyes were rolling. I was just so sleepy. You know, now when sleep comes, it's like, which is good because I still fight it. I fight. When I feel sleepy, I probably should say, okay, let me stop what I'm doing. I don't do that. I just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. All right, so I didn't have any coffee. I'm having water. I had another long walk this morning, 2.5 hours. You know, I had the last biscotti yesterday, so guilt. So I do 2.5 hours this morning. But I said, you know, I'm just going to the gym nowadays. All right, so today, shrimp and grits, not shrimp, but codfish, saltfish. We call it bacalao here in Panama. And I have been soaking this since last night. And this morning, I boiled it once, and then I had a piece. It's still pretty salty, so I changed the water. And I'm going to give it another boil. But it's one of these things. Good morning, Deborah. You have to be careful that you don't overcook it, right? So what I usually do, I get all my aromatics, you know, my onions and peppers and all that, and then put the fish in towards the end because I don't want it to disintegrate, you know, and fall into the dish. And for the cornmeal, it's just so weird to find a cornmeal with the right consistency. It's not easy. Those are the little struggles that we have here. Someone brought me this. I think is she in California? It's stone ground yellow cornmeal. And the texture is just exactly what I'm looking for, because I have been kind of eating it a little bit once in a while and then again, so I had to kind of pull back. So I only have a little bit left, and I said, anybody else is coming? It says grits, stone ground grits. Bring me a couple of these, por favor. So I have this much left, and I'm going to save the bag just so that I can show it to someone who's going to take pity on me and bring me one. I have a sister coming today, but I forgot to tell her anything I need, so she's gonna say what. And she told me twice. Deborah, I know. She's traveling, so she's not watching today. Usually she watches me. All right, and then we have these things here that they use to make sashimi, but if you could see the consistency is different. So if I need to top it with a little bit of this, I will. And I think at one point I was so looking for the right consistency of the cornmeal that I ended up with different bags. But I think these are the same. I think I got another one. Yeah, sashimi de maíz. These are the same. And they have a lot of different textures of corn here. Because remember, if you watch my video, my live yesterday, I gave a big history about the culture. And the indigenous culture here, they use a lot of corn. Not necessarily corn on the cob. I don't think I've seen them boil corn. They ground it, and then they make tamales out of it. They make bollos, and then they wrap them, and then they boil them, and they add stuff to it. So the corn is always being shaved. Good morning, Greta. Is being shaved and ground, and they beat it Or now they have this little machine and they, they grind it. And that's how they make shisheme. But shisheme is that corn porridge that I said I did not care for. But when we were going to the retreat, we made a stop somewhere and I was like, it's not bad. I could eat that one. All right, so we got our corn situation because another corn that I tried, but this one is like really, really, really fine, and that's not gonna work, right? But you could make porridge out of it if you wanted. But sometimes if I don't have anything else to eat, and I do experiment sometimes with things I know I shouldn't, but what's life if you're gonna be good all the time? No bueno. All right. So, Greta, I have a Swiss chart, a bunch for days now, and I've been trying to figure out what to do with it. So I think I'm gonna put it on top of my grits today, and my little last avocado, I think it's ready. So if it's ready, we're definitely gonna put a few slices on top. Oh yes, it's ready. On top of our corn. It's gonna be nice. Let's see if it's still buttery. I was happy with oh yes, so I'm ordering this again. Look. When you cut an avocado and it's that yellowish buttery color, mwah. But if it's pale and and they're not in season, so I don't know if they have a farm. I'm gonna order again. That coconut, and also I want you to know that the pineapple. Remember, I said I wouldn't buy this pineapple. It was sweet. To me, that's important, right? All right, so we're gonna have avocado. Yay! The bacalao is boiling again, right here. All right. So now we're gonna get our peppers, the Swiss chard, so we can, because the Swiss chard is going to kind of, once I cook it, it's going to come down to nothing. But it's such a nice side dish, and it's healthy, it's vibrant. Look at that. It was a smaller bunch, 74 cents. I'll take it. All right, what else do we have? So I got tomatoes. We're definitely gonna put tomatoes in our bacalao. I have a pepper, I believe. I have green too. I have green pepper, yellow pepper. Yes, you see, you have to use what's in your fridge. I didn't go to the store this week. I have not been to the store. And I still have my Covina fish in the freezer. I didn't have anything else this week. I had the tuna on Sunday. I had a couple of cans of sardines, which are good for you. You get your omega-3 in there. I ate eggs once with tomatoes, protein. I could not find any chickpeas last week when I was in the store. No chickpeas. I got plenty of lentils, but I was giving my tummy a break because if I eat too many lentils, it's like, All right. I do have cabbage, but no, this is not that kind of dish. No cabbage. But I could put it a little. Yes. All right. I came back late, so I'm not ready. I'm putting my Swiss chard with cabbage, collards, and chicken in a pot with onions and carrots. Oh, you're gonna overcook the Swiss chard, sweetheart? Put it at the end. Don't put it in a pot while you're cooking your chicken. Don't overcook the Swiss chard. All right. Okay. Got some onions. I am using my cast iron today to cook my fish. The corn. All right, let's prep first. The corn is not going to take too long. So I'm going to prep my veggies that way. And I'm going to use all the Swiss chard because it's been in the fridge for a few days and I don't want it to go bad. Some of the leaves already, look at that. You got to get rid of that because it's been in the fridge for a few days. And that's the thing here. If you don't think you're going to be using something quickly, don't buy it because it's going to go bad on you. See? All right. I got to give this Swiss chard some TLC. I got plenty of stuff, so I'm not saving these. All right, so I'm going to clean the leaves. I'm going to take away the dead parts because I don't want that in my dish. You know, Avatar has arrived here in Panama. Avatar, and I love the Avatar series, so I'm looking to figure out what day I'm going to be watching it, and I'm looking forward to having like a nice bag of popcorn. Listen, as I said, YOLO, you only live once. Don't deny yourself too much. You know, I'm all about health, but don't deprive yourself too much. Once in a while, have the ice cream. That's what you want. Don't die wishing you had had something. No bueno. You know me and no bueno. And when you're doing the Swiss chard, I take that, it's like when you're doing collard greens, you take the spine off because otherwise it gets really harsh. And we don't want that. And me, I'm not doing like the collard green. I do a rough chop. I don't have strips and stuff like that. Too fancy. Natural. Natural woman. Yep, look at that. Maggie. Bad Maggie. But I'm glad I remembered. All right. Won't take long. I told her sister I was going to walk with her and I forgot. Oh my goodness. The chef that I met here in my building, I met her again and I was like, okay, I'm going to call you. And then I forget how I saved her on the phone. And now I can't remember what her name is. She's probably thinking, oh yeah, she said she was going to call me and, probably making a bad impression, but I don't mean it. I'm thinking of going to the front desk and ask if they can have her call me. Maybe that's what I should do. Gotta strategize. I did a video that's gonna drop this afternoon, and I call it the 10 steps to relocation success. And one of the things that I stress to people, and for Greta, who's on her way, is that you have to be someone who can figure things out, right? Something breaks in the apartment. Who do you call? How do you figure it out? And not starting with, with having a headache and your heart pounding. It's like, no, it's like, okay, this is the situation. How do I get it? How can I fix it? I remember landing in Rwanda, in Kigali. I took a flight from Accra, Ghana. It was a spur of the moment. It wasn't planned on my itinerary. I said, well, let me go check Rwanda. So I booked the flight, and of course, you know, I'm a budget traveler, and I found a flight. It was going to be a red eye. And I said, oh, sure. I said, okay, I'm going to get there at 1 o'clock in the morning. I got my sweater. I said, I'm going to kind of prop myself on my bag, make myself comfortable, wait for daybreak, and start going. Well, when I got there at the airport, and I have to tell you, people at that airport were not friendly. They were like very stern. And even when I started walking around, they were not the happy, smiley people. They were like, and they stared at you. So I got there, I got you know, pay my $50 for my visa. And then I said, okay, I'm gonna find a kiosk, I'm gonna get a SIM card, and then I'm gonna get in contact with my guy that I got through Get Your Guide to come pick me up. Well, when I landed, first of all, I looked around, everything was shut. There were no stores that were open. There was nowhere I was gonna find any SIM card for my phone. So I got my iPhone, I have no phone, no Wi-Fi. And then as I'm trying to look for a little place to sit, this guy comes to me, he's like, he told me, shoot me out. He said, you have to leave. Out, 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 out. So I'm pushing my little carry-on and I'm outside the airport. But you're not allowed to stay inside the airport. You know, when you have a flight cancellation, you find yourself a little spot, a couple of seats. Nope. So I'm out. By that time, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, local time. I don't know anybody there. I don't have phone access. There's no Wi-Fi. What do I do? I couldn't call my contact. Yo estoy bien, gracias, Maria. ¿Y tú? And so I stood there in my mind. I'm trying to kind of figure out, okay, what am I going to do? Between 2 o'clock until daylight, you know, when everything opens up, what do you do with yourself? You outside the airport, you don't know anybody. And there were a bunch of men talking, you know, and I knew I was in Africa, so I was like, okay. And every time I try to talk to one, they're like, no English, no English. Like, oh my God, okay. So I don't know, maybe I was praying or did I look a little flustered? Maybe 30 minutes passed, but I was still trying to figure out what to do. And then all of a sudden, this young woman, to me, it was an angel. She just approached me from the side. She said, would you like to use my hotspot? And I'm like, oh my God, you speak English. And she wants me to use her phone. I didn't know how to use hotspot at the time. I'm like, she said, let me show you. She picked up my phone, she put her thing in there, and all of a sudden, messages. So, and I've had another instance where a total stranger came to me and asked how she could help me. I believe those are angels. And you can tell me they're not. Because when I'm at that moment, when I try to figure it out, and I come with no, that's not going to work, that's not going to work, and then all of a sudden somebody said, now what is the likelihood that at 2 o'clock in the morning, a young girl who looks about 18 or 20 approaches me and said, would you like to use my hotspot? Where I had no contact and didn't know I was going to just sit on my suitcase and sit there among all these guys looking at me, and I'm like a single woman in the middle of the night in a strange country. The moral of the story is, I tell people, you have to have been in these situations where if you figure things out without freaking out. If you want to move abroad, you're going to have things thrown at you like that. And you have to say, okay, let's backtrack. What am I looking at? What are my options? Option A, B, C, right? Because people say, God helps those who help themselves. I'm gonna rent a Swiss chard. So I'm like, oh my goodness. Ooh. You needed a bath, girlie. Yep. Woo. All right. Yes, yes, yes. All right, we have our Swiss chard. So now, we're gonna do half a carrot, peppers, we have onions, yes. So now when I was able to call my the driver, and then because he spoke English, of course, because he works with Get Your Guide, and he said, "Oh, Miss Maggie, I had a difficulty. I'm not going to be able to come get you, but I have a friend who is going to get you." Now listen, now it's like 2:30 in the morning, right? Who's going to get you and take you to your Airbnb? Well, I didn't know the first guy, and I certainly am not going to know the next guy. Just me. Okay. So now, and I'm like, what does he look like? Who is he? I don't know. He doesn't know me. I don't know him. So I'm looking around like this, and out of the corner of my eye over there, I see somebody coming towards me with a phone. And then he said, "Maggie," and then that's how we connected in the parking lot. I'm like, okay, he's young. You know, my mind, I'm always thinking if I could, what could happen? Because, you know, I heard this girl who was, I think Fiji or one of those Asian countries, and she was talking about how she took the little bike, you know, how they use the bike as taxis, and then this guy was asking her where you live, or you there by yourself, you know, they're scouting you too. And then she said she got in, and then it's like she saw the guy lurking around. You know, when you are traveling alone, you gotta have your wits about you because you are at risk. You are at risk. So I'm forever thinking, but it was 2:30 in the morning, and I needed to get to my Airbnb. I was tired, but not overly so. And so I'm like, English? He's like, no English. English, no English, no. I'm like, French? Because some people speak French in Rwanda. He's like, no French. Here Rwanda. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. So I'm gonna make some julienne of my carrots. Not too small. The juliennes are the strips. So now, he's supposed to take me where I need to go, but he doesn't. And I'm like, do you know where I'm going? It's like, Lord, he doesn't know where I'm supposed to go. So I called the other guy, and I'm like, you need to talk to this guy and tell him where I'm going. So they're like, blah, 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 blah. They do their little talk. And then he's like, let's go. I'm like, oh, Lord Jesus, I'm going to get in the car with this guy in the middle of the night. Oh, my God. So we got in the car. Did I do Waze or one of those apps? I don't remember if we did that. All I know is that we're in the car and he doesn't know where he's supposed to take me. And then we're just talking to the guy, the original guy, back and forth to see if we can come to an understanding that he can figure out where to take me. And the first, we make a right, and then all of a sudden, it's a checkpoint, police. And this guy looks scary. No, you know, they're just deadpan serious. A big old bazooka, whatever, in his hand. I'm like, oh God. And then the driver himself looked a little scared. And I'm like, well, if he's scared, think about me. And then he pulled out his ID, he gave it to the guy. And then they know the drill. He got out of the car and he said, I have to get out too. And the dogs came and sniffed around the car. You had to pop the trunk and they scanned with scanner. They're looking for, I don't know, guns, drugs, explosives. And then it was like, you ready to go? Oh, Lord, what a welcome. Welcome to Rwanda. I was like, oh my goodness. Woo. So now when we leave the guy, we still didn't know where we were going. So he's driving slow around looking, and I'm trying to figure out, I'm reading email that was sent to me before about the directions, and I'm showing it to him what the Airbnb host had said. It's right across from a girls' school. But he couldn't read it because he didn't speak English. Oh my God. So we must have called the other guy several times. And I said, you have got to talk to him and explain to him where to take me. So we're driving and he's talking to the other guy. He doesn't know where he's supposed to go. I'm like, oh my God. And again, God intervened. He went up a hill, down a hill, and I'm just looking, for that school. And then after maybe 20 minutes of just aimless driving, I see a school. And I'm like, school. So I found the place myself, okay? So the school, and then I saw the building, and I'm like, oh, that's it. So I'm like, stop. So, stop is universal. So by that time, I'm telling you, it's like 3 o'clock or 3:30 in the morning. Oh my God, Maggie. So now we get out, and then all these homes have big gates, metal gates. So it's early in the morning. I don't want to be banging and making a lot of noise in this new country. I don't know the laws of the country. So I'm like looking, but I'm knocking. I did not make a lot of noise, but I'm knocking. I'm like, nothing's happening. So he's on the phone with the other guy again, and my suitcase in his car, and I'm like, this is the school. This must be the place. So after a few banging, then this young man comes around, with sleep in his eyes, and he looked at me, and I'm like, Maggie, and I showed him that. He's like, oh. That's how I found my Airbnb. Oh, listen, I could tell you stories after stories of things like that have happened to me. Just like my life is colorful because I like to explore, and because of that, things happen, but I've always been able to strategize. Let's see if anything happened to me in France. Nice, we were okay. But you have got to have your wits about you, and you have to look at everything as an adventure and not, feel like it's something negative. That's going to serve you right when you get in situations like that where you just need to fend for yourself. You're in a new country, you don't speak the language, just like you guys do here in Panama. You take your Google Translate, and I know some people communicate really well. And this sister said when she goes to the store, she finds out the name of everything that she needs, and then she has it on her phone, take a screenshot, and when you get to the store, if she can't figure it out, she'll grab somebody and she'll point to what she wants. You make it work, right? All right. I don't have red peppers, but I have the green, I have carrots, so we're gonna have a mélange, which means a mix in French. But you know, I did eat I had like a mix, seafood mix. Usually I use that for my soup. But this time I used it, I had like some Brussels sprouts that I had to use before they got bad. So I threw them in there with some onions and with some onion, no peppers. So that worked. Remember this little thing I told you? I got this little thing you can buy at Walmart, and that's how you core your tomatoes to get that little piece out. I just don't like it being my food. Now you know I had to bring that. Alright, so we're gonna wash these and let's be ready. Then I think I'm gonna do the corn and let it cook and then do the fish. All right, I need a knife with teeth, the serrated knife. Maybe, and then those we're gonna be put way last because you know the tomatoes, they cook really fast and I don't want them to disappear. I want them to still hold their shape a little bit. I'm gonna put them in another dish. And, oh, I don't need all that, I guess. That's enough. Yep, don't need the extra. We're gonna put those back in. I need some lemon. I need garlic. Then peppers go in, and I definitely need a Scotch bonnet pepper. Remember that I got from that place? I am so excited. So, the beautiful one, we're gonna get it out, and everything else can go in. Let us all right, we're gonna rinse the tomatoes in here. Then we're gonna rinse these, and then we'll be ready. That's the mise en place. All right, our Swiss chard ready. All right, we have onions and garlic and Scotch bonnet, and we have acid. We are ready to roll. All right, we're gonna turn this on. You know, I got the edamame out. I think I'm going to use a little bit of edamame. I think it's going to be a nice addition. Yes. So, I am debating if I want to do the corn in here. Here, let me do the corn in here because I don't want a lot. Make sure I have my top. Yes. Okay. Now this pot is very thin, so it's gonna cook really fast. And I need my whisk, because you gotta whisk that grit. It's the elbow thing. And in my grits, I always put a hint of cream. Always did that. I'm gonna use my my stock, my vegetable stock. And I have a little bit. Cream is super expensive here in Panama, okay? I'm just telling you. So, I'm just gonna put a little teeny bit of onion. You don't have to, but just because I like to start all my dishes, this is savory, this is not sweet, so it's okay. And then it's gonna be just a little bit. You know, there's this doctor, I forgot what her name is. She looks Jewish, but she's an ER doc, and she's very, I guess, popular on Instagram. And every so often, you know, I watch people like that because she always gives advice about some of the stuff she sees in the emergency room. And let me tell you, you see some stuff in the ER. I think the other day she was talking about a kid who came with pain in the ear and how she had inhaled or swallowed something. And I always find these, you know, really interesting because I'm just curious like that. Remember the herb oil from the tuna? Yes, I still have that. So we're gonna use that everywhere that we can use to add flavor. We use a little bit of that oil. And that's good olive oil, except it's got that tuna and the rosemary and all of them. Oh, yes. So a little bit of the onion, and this thing is way too hot. That's because the pot is very thin. All right. So I'm going to take it off. I know Greta asked me to do one-pot meals. It's not something I'm, you know, I'm not into casseroles and stuff like that, but now that I have the, not the cast iron, but the Dutch oven, so I guess I could do a couple of those. But if you want to tell me, Greta, what ingredients you'd like to see, we can do that. All right, I remember when I was a young mom, people would, you know, the crock pots, people used to start their dinner and leave it in the house all day long. And then when they came, they said they had dinner. I don't know that you can say you have really good food. You have food that's been cooking for like 8 hours. That's just not good. That level of cooking, you know, it kind of takes away everything in terms of, I don't know. I don't think that's good cooking practice. But if you want to mix everything together so it makes it easier, then yes, you can. Oh, where's my whisk? I need my whisk. And I struggle to find a good whisk. This is from my days as a culinary student. It's the best. So we're gonna let el oler, the smell, oler, O-L-E-R. So nice. There's a little grandma on social media. I think she's Jamaican. And then when she said something, she's like, "Oh, nice, nice." She means it's good. Hola, thank you so much. All right, guys, are you able to see? Okay. I know it's not like right over you, but all right. So I'm gonna put my tastes sweet. That's what I'm supposed. I always taste. I think this is pineapple skin juice. Oh my goodness! See, if I did not taste it, we would be having pineapple grits. I really put a sticker on it. The sticker is my finger. I just stick my finger on there. It's like, what is this? Yes. Wow. That was crazy. I'm so glad I tasted it. Oh, Maggie, Maggie, Maggie. All right. I'm going to put a little bit more water. Yes, so, because I don't want a lot, remember. That's calm to me. All right. And the cream I usually put after I put the corn, right? So now let's season. Paprika, poquitito, adobo, garam masala, no. Pepper. Well, pepper I like to put at the end also. Cumin? No, not in this one. Yep, let's wait. Okay. So, now while this is boiling, let's get the fish. So I'm gonna have to debone that fish and then use a couple of forks just to kind of take the skin off. And I have to find something to put it in. All right. I also have to figure out, oh yeah, I know what we're gonna plate this in. You know what? This little Chinese dish has become the most popular thing for me. This one, I love it, but it's so deep, I can only put soups in it. But, and I refuse to buy more dishes. I don't have room to put anything else. This one's gonna be perfect for the grits, the fish, and the avocado. Perfect. Let's bring this back. All right. So, the fish, we're going to take the bone out. Now, this has soaked twice. I changed the water twice last night, and this morning I changed the water twice. Okay? So, we're going to take the skin off. We don't want the skin. I usually like skin. You remember I told you that I don't usually see salmon here at the fish market, but the other day I was filming someone and he wasn't happy about it, I guess, and I'm not gonna do it again. But in the film, I noticed it says salmon, and I'm like, oh, I missed that. So next time I go, I'm gonna check him to see if he has fresh salmon. Oh, I would be in heaven. I absolutely love fresh salmon. bone. Big old bones. Alright, so my water is boiling. I'm gonna turn it down. It's got a nice taste to it. Now what's gonna happen, as soon as I put the corn in, it's gonna start splattering, so I have to be ready to cover it. Now I don't use corn a lot, so I'm not real sure about the portion. You know, when you do rice, is 2 liquid to 1 part of grain, and with things like couscous and quinoa is 1 to 1. So I have to check with the corn. But you know, we're gonna have nice pieces of fish here for this. Look at that. Yes. Ooh. So it's a good thing I'm gonna use my my cast iron, because then I'm gonna need room to put the fish. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that, you guys. That is beautiful salt fish. So now, let's see if it's still real salty. Not much, just a hint, which means I really have to be careful with when I cook it that I don't, you know, add anything with sugar. I mean, with salt. All right. Let's a little bit. And then we're going to move it over here and get the cast iron. If I, this might be okay. I don't think I need the big old one. That is a big daddy of a cast iron. I usually can't even carry it. I need both hands. All right, so it looks like I have room to put a little bit more. All right, because we're gonna have to let it thicken and then start the beating. So we're gonna swap. We're gonna put it over here and let it cook down. Oh, it looks beautiful. All right, I got the cream over here. All right. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do, I'm going to saute my vegetables, and then I'm going to take them out. All right. Now this sashimi, I'm going to add the rest of my corn in here. My grits. All right. We're still going to use the the herb oil. The one thing I don't like about the cast iron, they splatter a lot. I do not like that part. Because we have julienne, so we're gonna do the same thing with the onion. All right. We're gonna go ahead and add the carrots, because the carrots are gonna take a little bit longer. Of course, you know I don't like my vegetables way overcooked, right? So it's all about timing. Beautiful. All right, let's go straight for the garlic. You know, I asked a couple of sisters to bring me garlic peeler, and 2 of them brought me garlic peeler. They still not doing the job. So I'm back to just chopping my garlic because I have to press so hard. And I remember the one I left at home that I loved. And it's in my cousin's kitchen. I don't think she's gonna give it up. And the Swiss chard. So when I finish with these, I'm going to take them out, do the Swiss chard, take it out, and then bring the fish in. Fresh garlic, nothing like it. All right. Please don't tell me you're buying a big old container of old garlic. Garlic powder, I'm telling you, I'm watching these people cook, and the moment they say to do your cube, I click up. I'm like, I'm not learning anything from you, sis. Sir, there's a guy on Instagram. He rolls everything in 3-4 layers of cheese and Oh my God, it's so disgusting. Who's gonna eat like that? He rolls everything in. All right, let's get going with the edamame. I'm gonna get the water boiling so I can cover the edamame in here. Remember, it's all about looking, multitasking, right? You don't need a lot. That's it. I have a much easier time finding edamame here in Panama than I did in the States. I'm just telling you. I don't know. I used to have to go everywhere and end up at Walmart to get it. Another way you can cook the saltfish is to boil it 2 or 3 times to get the salt to your taste. You know what yes, and but you know what concerns me though? All that boiling is taking everything away. So what's left? You know what I mean? When you boil something so many times, you take away all the nutrients, you throw the water out. Yeah, I don't like that part. But you're right, sis. It's not bad, actually. Oh, look how pretty. That's, I love colorful food. You eat with your eyes, remember that. All right, so let's season. Yeah, that is something I worry about. We keep boiling something and we take the water out. So all the nutrients are out of the fish. So, you're not really getting nutrition from that dish. It's just a taste. Ooh, look at that. Aww, that is gorgeous. All right, I'm gonna have to remember to beat my corn. So I'm gonna squeeze some lime. And this is lemon. I had to take the skin to put in my biscotti. And then I'm gonna put some cilantro. I don't use culantro. They use a lot of culantro here. I use cilantro. Now remember, everything I'm cooking, I know it's a little bit much, but when we bring everything together, it's gonna equalize. All right, I'm gonna take this out, put these in, because I don't want it to be overcooked. You know me, I'm a little anal. All right, I'm gonna throw some of that tomato in here, bring the heat up, and it's that. Tomatoes, I like to put a little sea salt on. There's something about salt and tomatoes that go well together, so that's it. And you can also get the liquid out of tomatoes too that way. All right. Water boiled. edamame, go in your water bath. Gonna cover it. That's how I cook my edamame. There we go. All right. So when I take the tomatoes out, what's gonna go in? The fish. But while this is happening, we can come here and start beating that corn. I need to get the gluten out so it can get nice and creamy. Oh, it's got the consistency is right. So I'm gonna put a little bit of my cream in there. That's it. No more. It's like when you're making omelet. When I make omelet, I put a little splash of cream or milk. And this is how I do it. You just beat it. And you get the gluten out. By the time it's done, it's nice and stretchy. When I was at the restaurant, people used to come get the grits. And she's like, how come your grits are so creamy? I said, well, it's all in the wrist. The consistency is perfect. Mira. Needs a little salt. Now I'm not putting cheese in this, but I will put a little pat of butter on it, in it. All right, my tomatoes are good. I can just smell them. Stir me like that. All right. Tomatoes are done. Now our fish is gonna go in. Might need a little bit more oil. Herb oil from the tuna. Oh yeah. Pepper. Now I'm tempted to put a little bit of turmeric, but I won't because we already have corn, we already have yellow. So let's not overdo it because we're looking for contrast. Oh, I shouldn't have put that in here. This one has a little salt. No bueno, Maggie. All right, herbe de Provence. I'm addicted to this now. Cumin, yeah, I think. And I know if I were Jamaican, I would look for the allspice, right? But I am not going to crush allspice. I couldn't find any that were brown. Oh, that was hard to find. This is dill and sage. You know, you get your herb de ahumado. I think it's de ahumado. Yes. No, ahumado is oh, what is the word again? thing I may want to add to this is a little bit of tomato paste. I believe I have some. Maybe not. Pasta de tomate, see, just a little bit, not too much. Alright, and I no longer have vegetable stock. Alright. Water. My Scotch bonnet. Woo. It's beautiful. I'm just gonna put this much in here and see how it comes out, because I don't want it too hot. Alrighty. More veggies. Oh yeah. We just want a little bit of wetness, but we don't want to make a sauce or anything like that. And that's gonna be gone in a second. All right, this is the time to do the taste. I think it could use that other little Scotch bonnet. And we're gonna put some acid. Acid. Let's see a bouquet down here. No time for bouquet, but we can definitely put some time in here. We have to put some time. That time did it. Yes, yes, yes. Gotta have time. If he doesn't have time, it's not Caribbean. All right. We're gonna top it with a little butter. Monte au beurre. You know, my butter is almost done from all the baking. Oh my God. And I did say I was gonna stay away from the butter for a little bit. See, all that water is evaporated. It's gonna add that little glistening. I think the edamame is done. We're gonna throw it in here. All right, little girl, I'm coming. My grit calling me. All right. Come the edamame. Now remember, this is my version. This is not Jamaican or anything like that. Like somebody said, can you show us how to make oxtail? Well, you know, everybody cooks oxtail differently. There's a chef in town. He does cooking class and he cooks oxtail. He doesn't cook it anywhere like I cook it. But he's Kenyan now. So everybody has their own version of cooking something. But if you're gonna say Jamaican style, then you need to stay true to the country's way of doing it. You know, I see people say, oh, we're making Haitian legume. And I'm like, oh, you gotta know how to make this stuff, girl. You're gonna get people upset if you don't do it right. Yeah, people feel some kind of way about their dishes. Alrighty, so. Oh my goodness. Oh, mwah, perfecto. Alright. Our grits. I probably should just take that off. It's good. And we're gonna throw that Swiss chard in here. Just put a little salt, pepper, and a little acid. That's it. Oh my gosh, I hate this thing because of all the splashing it does. All right, we are done with this dish. Swiss chard. Here you come. No herbs, nothing like that in the Swiss chard. We were gonna put a little butter in the grits. You know, you guys put butter in your grits. That's it. And grits are done too. And Swiss chard. Get yourself a whisk. As long as you don't have elbow injuries, you should be able to come up with this creamy textured grit. All right, we are done with that. We'll turn I already turned that off. All right, Swiss chard. You are done. Little salt, pepper, and lemon juice. Eso es todo. Look how pretty it is. You don't want to overcook. Swiss chard. Poquito de sal. Y limón. It's done. I cannot leave it on the stove any longer, otherwise I'm gonna lose all this beautiful green. All right, we are done. We're ready to plate. Wow. That was a labor of love. So when I tell you that cooking is a passion, that's what I mean. I enjoy the whole process, right? So, and I think the lady that I met, whose number I can't remember, oh my God, I'm in so much trouble. She said the same thing. She said it's a passion. And unless you're passionate about cooking, you can't relate. And it's okay. People, we all have different passions in life, right? Just find yours. Okay, so we said we were going to use this to plate. Maybe I'll break down and get another one of these kind of dishes. It's like tripe. Some Jamaicans cook it with curry, really delicious, while the Panamanians cook mondongo, yes, mondongo with tomato paste. That usually just way too much tomato paste to me. It's just like, even in my own cooking at home, it's like we put tomato paste in, way too much tomato paste in everything. I don't cook like that. But let's plate this baby, Greta. We have our, oh my goodness, what is up with this thing? We got our grits ready. You see the consistency of these grits? That's what you want, right? You want it nice and buttery, and so you have to watch it. It's better to start with less and then add a little bit at a time. It's good. Good. All right. So we're gonna put this much down. Well, you guys usually put like in the middle of the plate, don't you? All right. So good. All right. Now we need another. I could use this. All right. So now I messed up the side. we're gonna lay our fish on top. You know, I need to get some more flat. I don't have room for it. All right. Here's our fish. Some veggies. You know, Sarah Brightman is one of my favorite singers. And my daughter knows that when I die, she's going to have to play some Sarah Brightman. The other day she was here, I said, don't forget Sarah Brightman. She said, you still wanting that? I'm like, of course. Didn't change my mind. If I had, I would have told you. Right? All right. Edamame. And you know, edamame is soybean, so you get some protein there. So, you know, I see some people eat edamame like a snack in the pod. I'm like, okay, as long as you know you're getting it for the right reason, I don't care how you get it. All right. Now we're gonna add our Swiss chard to the side. I'm gonna cover my mistakes here. Oh, look at the contrast in colors. That's what they mean when they say you eat with your eyes. If the food is colorful, it sends a message to your brain that, oh, you really want to eat this, right? Okay. Then we have we're gonna put our avocado on the side. These are not hard, so you don't have to be fancy with it. We eat a lot of avocado where I come from. For breakfast with the cornmeal, and usually what we would put in this grit, we would put herring and tomatoes. And then there was no meat, just the herring, and then with avocado. That was breakfast before I went to school. Yes. Wasn't eggs. I didn't grow up with eggs like that. All right. So let's see. Let's cut this in half and have our slices a little bit smaller. Just my choice. You don't have to do it like that. And we're going to do another one. You know what? I am very pleased with the avocado that I bought. Because what I get at Cinco de Mayo right now, they are not good. Yeah, no bueno. And I like my avocados buttery. If it's not buttery, I don't want it. I've cut up into an avocado and just throw the whole thing out. Because if it's watery and it's like, no. And of course, you never know what it's gonna look like until you cut into it, right? But in season, your odds of getting a good one are higher. But off season, you're taking a risk. I don't know, I feel like I could put some plantain on the side of this thing. Some patacones. Let's Panamanize this. Boy, I was trying to keep it whole. It took a little work there. Wow. And for decoration, we're gonna put a couple of lime slices and a Scotch bonnet pepper. Yeah, baby. Oh, maybe 2. Let's see. Oh, there's a pretty red. And yeah, we're gonna put 2 of them. Alright. And some nice slices. Ooh, here's that weapon. I call it a weapon. I'm scared of that knife. I'm scared of it. All right. Heck it is. Oh my goodness. Here is this beauty. Did you have as much fun as I did cooking this? You would have some green bananas. There you go. That's what I'm looking at it, and I'm like, we could add some plantain into this thing. Look at this. Boiled green bananas. Yes, Mama. Go ahead. Yes, herring with this. I don't know that I've seen herring here. I need to take a look. Now that I found salmon, maybe, and if I find it, I'm going to buy it and show it. And I need some salmon head for soup. Oh. But look at that. Healthy, beautiful. You got protein. You got fruit, tomatoes. You got the greens. Guilt-free eating, right? An hour and 27 minutes. We did good. All right, ladies. Thank you for hanging out with me. Yes. Yes. So I don't know what's coming next after Christmas. I'm not cooking for Christmas, so no leftovers. So we'll see. All right, guys. Have a beautiful day. Thank you again. Bye-bye.